So today we're going to install the RWD RS-2 rear monoshock for this 19 Softail. Let's make it happen, let's figure it out. This is my first time doing it, but that thing will be just fine. So let's remove this seat and we'll go from there. So here's kind of the unboxing of the RWD RS-2 for this 19 Streetbob. Let's reopen the box. We have a top layer of foam there for protection. We have the instructions, couple stickers. I took one out of there already. The tool, and here is the shock itself. So you guys can see with the external reservoir on this side, and then the mount that we're going to be mounting on the side of the bike where the belt guard is, which is going to be removed as I understand. Let's get to it. I can't wait to get some height on this thing. So as you can see, we removed the seat. It's out of the way. Here we have the stock monoshock in the rear. Let's clean up some of this dirt real quick out of the way so that we're not working on such a dirty environment, at least a little bit, and getting the new stuff dirty. And then we'll start removing the parts. I know this bracket on the top has to come out of the way, and then start making our way onto the rear and the front of the monoshock here, so this can come out and the new one can come in. So I'm using a 7/16 for this bolt and this bolt right here on this side to get this bracket out. I think this screw has to be out of the way too, and then once I lift this side of the bracket, we'll disconnect this plastic little holder here for the tie for the wires. Let's get that going and we'll get this bracket out of the way. You guys, on these bolts that go on both sides of this bracket, one here and one here that we got out of the way, this 3/16 also fits in the middle, so you can use that tool in the middle or the one on the outside like I did, but we'll keep that one here just in case we need it. We gotta get this bolt out of here and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so now I have a T27 for this one bolt on this side. That's a close one. Almost lost that guy. Perks of doing things with one hand. And now this bracket should come off. We'll get this plastic out of here. So we have the bracket out of the way. I know we have to loosen up this bolt so that this main bolt here can loosen up and get out of the way, and then we have to remove the one up here and get this chock out of the way. Before that, we're going to get the motorcycle jack under this thing and lift it up, make some space, and have this lower a bit, give us a little more space. And also for the installation of the longer one, we're going to need that wheel a little lower, so we're gonna lift the bike up. Alrighty, so we got the motorcycle up. We're gonna remove this so we don't trip on it. Get it out of the way. We have the rear tire off the ground, about 1.5 inches, maybe close to 2 inches. Make sure you guys put the lock, if you have a lock on your jack, whatever jack you guys are using. And I think that's probably high enough to get the work that we need. We'll find out. Alright, so as usual, there's always something that we need that we don't have at the moment. So Had to make a quick run to AutoZone and get this longer extension here and a new T50 that will actually fit through here and reach all the way in, because the T50 that I had, the upper part here was thicker and it wouldn't fit through this hole here. However, now that we have the right tool, we have to loosen up this bolt right here, but I do not have enough space to get to it, to get the Allen key in there. So it seems to me that I may have to either raise the bike more or just remove the fender to get to it. So I will let you guys know here in just a minute. Alright fam, so I didn't want to skip this part and show you guys. I feel like maybe I missed something here. Maybe if one of you guys know, or a better way, or something that I missed I didn't see here. In order to take this fender off, there's two bolts here that to get to it. It seemed like maybe I would have had to take the tire off, so I discontinued that process and figured out a way to get to that bolt. So I found this little hex piece here and a small wrench that fitted that piece, and I was able to get in there. It was hard as hell. This is a 2019 and I don't think that that bolt had ever been released from the moment that this bike was built. I don't see why it would have been. So it took a while to get that off of there. So now it's finally loose. So we're gonna go ahead and get to the main bolt down there, and hopefully we can move along now. All right. All right, well, that's a little better. We got some of that disgusting nastiness out of there, just a bit for now, but this thing needs a deep wash for sure. While we're here, we're going to go ahead and move these two bolts that hold the belt guard, because we're going to need to install the bracket for the RWD RS-2 there for adjustments. So we'll get that done while we're here. Alright, so the new RWD RS-2 suspension is in. We got some fresh Loctite on the front bolt, and then we'll put the lower bolt. The canister is already here on this side, and then it'll run this way, and we'll install the bracket here to hold it. So we'll put this over here now, and then we'll get to that part. Alright fam, so we tightened the top bolt. We're now on the lower bolt for the suspension. As you guys can see, I lowered the bike again so the tire can make contact on the ground, and the swing arm can come up just enough to line up the holes through the top of the swing arm here into the bottom of the suspension. And we're gonna put some fresh Loctite on this bad boy right here, and it's going right in. I don't know if you guys can see it down here, but do not forget to tighten this fastener here. That prevents the bolt from the lower part of the suspension to back out. Alright, so this is just extra, but it's something that I do sometimes, and as you guys can see, I put a mark of blue paint with a blue paint marker on the top and on the bolt to check. It's just a quick way to check to see if the bolt is backing out at any moment. You'll be able to see if it got out of line with that mark that you made. But like I said, that's extra. It's just something that I do for peace of mind, something that we can check on the fly and make sure everything's running good. Alright, so if you guys can see, the new RWD RS-2 is in. fresh Loctite on the bolts. The canister is on the side here with the bracket where the belt guard used to be, and then I just secure this here for it not to be loose with a couple zip ties for now. Over here in the instructions, you guys, I just found out when I opened the product. I didn't read about this before or whatnot, but it specifies here for 18 and up Softail Streetbob, which is this bike. We must cut a section of the fender right here along this line for clearance. Now I don't see anything here too close, so I don't have a cutter to cut this right now, so I will watch it. This is the RS2, so I don't know if there's a difference on the clearance from the RS1 to the RS2. I don't see why it would be, but if I see that this is gonna be a problem, I will have to find a cutter and then cut this section here as it said on that paper. Now the bike is ready to be lowered. If you guys see, we have that fender gap going on already. However, if we lower the bike, we're gonna have a shorter kickstand now because the bike is higher. So we're gonna have that gangster lean, as people call it. So we have a piece that we're going to install there right now, since the bike is up, to fix that problem before we even bring the bike down. I'll show you. So as you guys see here, we have the IMZZ Kickstand Drop Plate for the MA Softail. So we're going to remove the kickstand from here. This plate is going to go in place of that, and then the kickstand will install back into the lower portion of the plate. It brings the extra hardware and all that, and then once we bring the bike down, which is now higher, should be 1.5 to 2 inches higher, won't have that gangster lean anymore, and it will have a proper stance. So let's get to it. Alright, so quick side note, the kit from IMZZ, the drop plate for the kickstand, does not come with instructions, at least this one didn't. However, they do have a good video on their website showing you how to install it, but I wanted to show you guys here. I think I held the plate the wrong way as I was showing you the first time that I was putting next to the bike. So as you see, the one side is straight and the other side has a different cut, so that is for the area here where the spring is to go around it, and then now it's going to be installed like this. That's number one. Number two, in the kit there's 4 bolts, 2 shorter ones, 2 longer ones. The longer ones go on the bottom holding the kickstand to the plate, and now these shorter ones are going to go from the plate to the bike. Alright, let's get it done. Alright, so you guys can see the plate is installed, the drop plate is installed, and the kickstand is now lower. Instead of being on the frame, it's on the plate, and then the plate is on the frame. So we're gonna bring the bike down and see the new stance with the suspension and check on the lean angle with the drop plate. Let's get it. Alright, well, the job is done. The drop plate from IMZZ is installed. The lean angle is perfect as far as I see it, as you guys can see. The RWD RS2 Monoshock in the rear is installed. The bracket's back on, the seat's back on, and as you guys can see, the reservoir here on the side, on the bracket, I was about to say the chain because of my other bikes. The belt guard is removed and out of the way, and as you guys can see, the bike is a lot taller, and you guys can see the height on the fender there, the nice good old fender gap. Now there's one thing left to do, which is take the bike for a ride, and I cannot wait. I already sat on the bike, and I'll tell you what, you can already feel the height difference. So yeah, we'll take it out and enjoy the new ride. What's going on, peeps? So as you guys can see, we have the new RWD RS-2 already on the bike. You guys can see the difference on the height. We are about an inch and a half, I would say, to maybe even 2 inches high. I didn't take the right measurements, but so much higher. And the first ride was amazing on it. Taking the turns was definitely a big difference, so I'm excited about that. So far on this bike, we've done that, as you guys saw in this video already. And other than that, since we've had it, I've just had the traction supply bags on and the Saddlemen step up. We had the Benson Hines on it, the duals, and now we have this Bassani road rage that I installed myself. And we have we've been through a couple crash bars. This is the one that I have on now, but I already know I'm going to change that as well. I had a new Saddlemen come in, and yesterday when I was trying to install it, I realized that I had ordered the wrong one, so I contacted Get Lower and hopefully send that back and get the right one for this Softail. So you guys will see the new Saddlemen coming. So this Saddlemen is going to be replaced by yet another Saddlemen. I also put that on this bike, and I put the grips from Trashing as well, just like the bags. However, I did that to match this brown seat, but now that I'm changing the Saddlemen to another Saddlemen, we're going to be changing the grips one more time. I got this bike with the T-bars that you see on it already, but I am going to change those as well in the near future for ones that are a little more modular and a little taller. Just put the handguards on for now. We're going to be changing the levers and the controls and stuff a little bit as well. And obviously we're going to get into doing better braking and wheels and all that. Like I said, we just started on this bike, but that's what we have going on for now. The suspension was a huge difference. This Crater fairing, Sport fairing, I put it on myself. However, I did not use the bracket that it came with, and I went with a bracket from Memphis Shades, and I adjusted and drilled that fairing to fit this Memphis Shades bracket. That way when I go with the actual fairing that we're going to end up with in this bike, because we're going to change that too. I can take this fairing and this bracket and just teleport it to another bike real easy. And that's what's going on. Let's get back on the road and enjoy this new Monoshock in the back again. Put our phone on the rock form mount that we're rocking right now. So you guys can see we have the traction bag over here as well. And yeah, let's rock it. Alright fam, so we're back from the ride and the bike felt amazing. I had planned to do a +2 on the front suspension for this bike since we went higher on the back. However, after today's ride and feeling how the bike sits, I'm not sure if we're going to do that when we do the front suspension or if we're going to keep the same height. The reason being for the bike feels like it's pretty much at the right stance as far as the height from the front to the back going in and out of the turns. I feel like that might not feel as good if I go too high in the front. So we'll see what we do with that, if we keep it at the same height. We are going to change the front to better suspension. I just don't know if the height we're going to keep it the same or if we're going to go higher at all. Maybe slightly higher perhaps, but I don't know if we're going to do 2 plus or +2. Anyways, subscribe to the channel, share the video with anybody that you know that wants to do an installation or is looking into a Monoshock of any brand. The installation is going to be pretty similar, whether it's RWD or any of the other brands. I got my parts from Get Lower. We also have a GPR stabilizer coming with this bracket for this bike coming from Speed King. So as soon as that gets here, we're going to do a video on that install and how it works. If you guys have never had one, I have had them in my sport bikes before, so I cannot wait to see how it feels on a Harley. I've never had one on a Harley before. It will be my first stabilizer or dampener on a Harley Davidson, so I'm very excited about that. So anyways, I'll see you guys on the next video, and we'll continue on the build on this bike. With your support, we'll get more stuff done. So see you on the next one.